memories. I just wanna let it go for the night. That would be the best therapy for me. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, hey.
Oh, I guess to explain, shuffling to me is it's kind of a passion, a lifestyle I've taken up for the past 2 years. I tend to do it when my emotions are pretty strong, like when I can't really explain what I'm feeling in words. The music always keeps me pumped, keeps me ready to go, so it kind of boosts my morale when I'm doing it too. I guess to put it in a nutshell, shuffling to me is happiness. It's a getaway. Almost looks like you're walking on air, so it really did impress me. I had ended up starting though and finding that it was really enjoyable not only to do it and to show off, but the fact that I could express myself as well as I could. The pop culture of it, on the other hand though, didn't come around until about half a year ago or a year ago. I'd already become pretty experienced with shuffling, and then LMFAO put out their Every Day I'm Shuffling video, the party rock anthem. That's when everybody around the US got all into it and people started shuffling. For the people that actually did shuffle before then, we always kind of thought it gave us a bad name because they weren't exactly good at it. But we did enjoy the new culture, the new upbringing of shuffling. Basically, shuffling came around in the late 90s as kind of a mix of some 80s dances, like the Running Man is involved in it, and then you have this T-stepping dance, which is basically a strange movement of the feet, and it originated from something else in the 80s. I wish I knew the name of the dance, but it had originally came around in the late 90s, and it started to really explode at the early comings of YouTube, because then people could learn each other's tricks and techniques and all around style. When I learned about it, it was before the explosion of the electro shuffle, so I chose Melbourne because it looked smooth and it really did look good. They would slide along the ground. It was very impressive to see. I can only imagine what people think of me now when they see it, because I don't really see it as much anymore. As for the recent history though, the explosion of YouTube really did help. Over the past 10 years, shuffling's become very big on YouTube especially, and a few friends and I a while back, we made our own YouTube channels and we started putting our videos out there. It's awesome to see the publicity we're getting for it, and it really boosts your self-esteem to see someone tell you that, you know what, you're a good shuffler, you're good at what you do, because when you devote so much of your time to doing it, after seeing all these idols of yours on YouTube getting the same publicity, it really makes you feel good about yourself. It's almost like a self-esteem booster, I guess you could say. The shuffling community was definitely a big thing when I started. It kept me going a lot of the time. See, when I first opened up to it, I discovered that the shuffling community was really big on YouTube, and so I was talking to people on there, getting tips, getting advice, and I was very impressed to see how cordial and kind these people were, because I'm used to talking to your typical average everyday person who is, for lack of a better word, kind of an asshole, and you ask them for help and they just treat you like you're lesser than them. But you ask someone in the shuffling community and they're almost enjoying the ability to help you. They feel honored that you're asking them, and I'm living proof of that, because now when people come to me and ask for help, and when they tell me that they want advice, greatest feeling in the world, really, because out of the millions of other shufflers out there in the world, yeah, there's probably millions, they're coming to you, of all people, for advice, and you know, it makes you feel good, and it makes you feel friendly, and you just want this person to be better at what they're doing. And then as I got better and, you know, became more involved within the community, I found out about what we call these shuffle meetups. And it's where shufflers from all around the city, the state, sometimes even the country, they'll all meet in certain cities and certain areas. And you guys will have, like, sometimes DJs, or just sometimes you'll play radios, or whatever you have, but you'll play a lot of loud music, tends to be hardstyle, club music, whatever you really want shuffled to, and you guys just go, you have fun. We're apparently the club generation, so pop culture is really starting to do stuff with a constant beat, but when I was starting, there wasn't that much around, so I really got into what's called hardstyle, which I know to anybody else talking about this, they're like, that sounds sexual. And you know what? It probably could be taken that way, because music is very hard and it bumps a lot. Hardstyle songs, there's nothing quite like it that I've ever found, because the music, it's almost overwhelming, but in a good way. When you're having a rough day, or even when you're having a great day, it boosts your self-esteem, it boosts your morale, it boosts your confidence almost, to the point where hearing every beat just makes you more and more pumped. You're like, hey, I want to do this, I can do this, I could do anything. Really, unless someone understands it, enjoys it, there's just no way to explain it. But I have been into hardstyle for almost 2 years now, and before then though, I never thought I could ever get into techno. I was strictly a rock and roll kid, you know. I'm gonna stick to what I know because, well, I know it, and I'm gonna be ignorant, and that's how I do it. You know, I gave it a chance, and it really proved beneficial. I was impressed. It's got a constant beat, and it's meant for dancing, and that's where I think pop culture is really starting to go. I think they actually got a little bit of their appeal from the rave scene because it's becoming such an explosion again. The scene is really, really starting to get big, and of course it's related with drug use, and people die because of drug overdose, and this, that. Well, people like me who are actually sober when we go to these things, and don't feel like doing the drugs, we're just there to actually enjoy it. It's quite an experience. I mean, hell, you could be doing the Macarena and people will start joining in probably, just because raves are about fun. There's just nothing quite like it. It's a party, right? But on a massive scale. See, everybody in college or in high school these days, they do their little house parties, but when my generation parties, when my group of people party, we party 10,000 strong, and that's just the fun of it. So you can take the media or whatever they want to tell us raves are, and for lack of a better word, they can shove it up their ass, because raves are about having fun. I understand a few people ruin it for the rest of us, but I will continue to rave no matter what people say about the scene. I'm going to keep having my fun and keep my passion around for the dance, for the music, and for the scene. Give shuffling a chance, and when you do, keep shuffling. Just keep doing it, because there's nothing like it once you're used to it. A lot of people give up quick, and they'll think nothing of it after. But anybody, and I literally mean anybody who I've ever seen stick around in the culture and the scene, their love for it just continues to grow. Famous quote that goes around the shuffling community: shuffle to express, not to impress. Yeah, I've been shuffling to express for a year and a half now. Granted, the publicity's nice, but the publicity, everything added up, will never give me the same feeling as knowing that I can't handle something emotionally, so I express it through dancing. And of course, I know that's probably the most intelligent thing I've said this entire way, was, oh, I'm a dancer and I express my emotions through it. Yeah, I get it. But until you really give it a chance, I don't expect you to understand. I do hope that at least one person who watches this will take my advice and say, you know what, I'll give shuffling a chance, or you know what, I'll keep doing it, and not care what people tell me or not care what people think. Because there are people who hate me along the way, and it's disappointing to hear that. But I look at where I am now, 2 years later. I have a sponsor for shuffling, Australian clothing company. They're pretty cool. And when you tell people that you're sponsored for a dance, there's nothing like it. And I can look back at everybody who told me I couldn't do it or told me that I shouldn't do it and say, well, look where I'm at now, look where you're at now. I get to enjoy myself, and I look like I'm gliding around the floor like a freaking ninja. And you sit there and you do the typical dance of grinding on people, basically dry humping on the dance floor. And I understand they're teenagers, they want to have their fun, but just kind of weird. Dancing for no reason. But yeah, I hope I've influenced at least one of you. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and thanks guys.